The following podcast is an enticing media production. Thank you for listening to this podcast. You are now socially obligated to pour yourself a drink, and welcome to the Drunk Squirrel.
I'm assuming you snuck that little red button over there.
Yeah, I just did.
You just did?
Just did.
Yeah.
So that statement you made is going to open the episode.
You know what's funny?
What?
I get in a little bit of trouble for that. Not much.
For what?
So Pastor Robin and I have started a vlog and podcast.
Oh, right.
Alongside what we're doing with the church, which is Bible in a Year. And we sit down on Tuesdays, and we're a week ahead. Actually, it's more like we're a week behind. But we're a week ahead what the church schedule is. And everyone else is like ahead of us even. And when we sit down, I'll do that. I'll sneak the record button. And I get an eye roll from that every time.
So she puts you in charge of it.
Well, I mean, it's all set up in my office. I've got a soundboard hiding in a file cabinet.
Oh.
I open up this file cabinet, plug everything in.
That's an interesting place for a soundboard.
It really is. It's kind of funny. And I'll do that where we'll be getting kind of warmed up, figured out where we're going, and I'll hit record just so I have some leeway to cut things.
Yeah.
As I'm editing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's like, you did the drunk squirrel thing, didn't you? I don't know what you're talking about.
I like how she just doesn't, she's not upset with you for that. She said she actually calls it the drunk squirrel thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's
part of that makes me smile.
Well, I mean, it is.
Hi, Robin.
It is a perfect little signature to who we are, where it's you're coming in right at conversation. Where are we? What's going on?
It does seem to has its little nuances.
Yeah, and I see part of the thing I appreciate with it is it's almost a level of honesty.
Yeah.
That are you getting any not anywhere else. It's not a fair statement. But it's a level of honesty we're trying to offer.
Yeah.
In our conversation.
We cried in the last episode.
We did.
There's
and
not much more honest than that.
I'm sticking with your room is dusty.
I mean, I don't clean. We don't clean.
Oh, I have seen videos of you cleaning. There are videos of you on the internet cleaning.
On the interwebs?
Which is just a weird statement in and of itself.
Anything will end up on the interwebs.
Including you cleaning and doing floor work.
Is there? I mean, for some women, that's more of a turn on than anything else they could watch.
Mr. Clean is a thing.
I'm just saying. And I have the hairdo for Mr. Clean.
You know, you have been, I meant to actually pick on you about this earlier, but you have been like especially a little bit shiny tonight.
I have a hat on.
You haven't had the hat on all night.
Okay. You
were sitting out on the couch cuddled between Nell and Kelly. Looking shiny.
Yeah, I'm not growing more hair, I'll tell you that.
No, it's that shiny like you've just recently buzzed it.
Oh, I did yesterday.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
there it is.
Yesterday. Yeah. So you caught me at a good time.
Yeah. Well, and like I've even changed my hairstyle a bit because I'm starting to notice bald patches getting bigger. And
it happens. It happens. But what happens this time of year is you do the whole buzzing thing, and then all of a sudden you start noticing on your head that it's cold.
Why is it cold?
I feel like when I had hair up there, it felt less cold.
So we talked about this a little bit last episode, and it's the one that I always hate. But like, okay, I didn't get the Santa gig this year.
Did you want it?
Kind of, but at the same time, no.
I mean, it gave you more time.
Well, and time has been a huge... We should actually talk about that a little bit, because I've got a bit of a life change I haven't talked with you about yet.
Uh-oh.
Nothing, like, groundbreaking. Are you examining how much I have to drink?
I am,
with this conversation? Social lubrication. Does he need more?
I'd say we both have a sufficient amount currently.
We do.
Okay.
And, I mean, we have been lubricated plenty in the past couple hours.
Yeah, we drank Craig's whole bottle for the most part.
Pretty much. And, I mean, we needed it tonight with where our conversations have gone.
Yeah, I mean, you needed it today because you had not stressful is not the right word.
It was a lot.
But maybe it is the right word.
I stress before an event.
I think that's normal.
Like an hour to a half hour before an event, I am going, nope, this thing is about to fail. No one is going to show up. Nothing is going to work.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like it's human nature to feel that.
Well, and then the event happens, and there are a lot of emotions that go into it.
And as happened today, the event went off as well as it ever has.
More than.
Right. So then, all those emotions, leading up to it were,
are amplified.
Sure.
And just, wow. And, a lot of this, go back and listen to the episode with Kelly, because that episode is 30 minutes old in, our moment, our life.
Mm-hmm. But
that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah. Where were we going?
I don't know. I just want you to know, everyone. Much like normal,
we have no plan.
This episode might be, what's the right word?
Chaos incarnate.
Yeah, I guess, but we have less of a plan in this episode than I think we've ever had.
We do, but I think I got one twist to drop on you. That'll be a good conversation point.
I also know you said something about some sort of a life change that you haven't shared with me.
Twist.
So. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
but again, before we get too far, we're drinking the same thing that we drank in the last episode because
Craig didn't show.
And full disclosure, this is the same day.
It is. And actually, on that note, I feel like next time you are up at Craig's, you need to steal a new bottle.
I can. There's plenty up there.
Yeah, I know there's plenty up there.
I was just there last night. You should have said something. I could have.
Hey, I was still in the hope of Craig's going to show. So now I feel like we need to steal another bottle.
Yeah.
Until he shows again. Or doesn't.
So every time one of us goes there, we need to steal a bottle until he shows. He's not going to be alcohol.
It's going to be hilarious. Oh, man.
But, yeah, I had a little, I had some bourbon there last night. We watched some Texas A&M Texas.
That's right. That was the Texas game.
Yeah, it didn't go well for them.
No.
So, but, yeah.
Well,
it was fun. We lounged around and, whatever. So.
Sometimes those are just the best times.
Yeah, it was nice. It was comfortable. We threw some axes.
Oh, that's always fun.
We did throw some axes, and it was good.
Well, good.
So anyway, what do you got? What is this you speak of?
All right, I am working on being a full-fledged pastor. That has officially begun.
Okay, I get that. Doesn't really surprise me, but
really.
I mean, maybe in this moment, like, I wasn't prepared for that, like, right this second. But, I mean, I know that's something that you've wanted, so.
And it's something I've actually tried for a couple times. Well, yeah, this is the second time I've tried for it.
I know there's been some red tape in the way.
Red tape's an understatement.
Yeah. I don't know all the details of those things, but I do know there's been some red tape in the way.
Yeah, and it was a seminary that I graduated from, where it wasn't accredited the way that the denomination I worked for wanted. And that threw a wrench in the process 6 years ago. And finally we figured out ways around that, so the whole process is starting again. So
I guess the question there is, what does that mean?
Well,
I mean, in the short term, I guess it doesn't mean much, but in the long term, it means a lot.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to distract us for a moment. Is he carrying like a giant boombox? The
Yes.
49ers?
Yeah, that's like one of the things they do when they run on the field. They have like a
boombox.
They have like a giant fake boombox that's playing like music.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
I've not seen that before.
I've seen that a few times. Yeah, they have this like fake boombox that I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's the mascot.
I don't know. I want to be boombox guy.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe tonight you don't want to be a boombox guy because it's snowing at about 10 degrees in Buffalo.
Well,
I mean, maybe you do.
I kind of like the snow.
Maybe you do.
I miss the snow.
I enjoy watching games like this where there's snow on the ground.
Ugh.
That just, it's fun to watch football games like that.
Oh, you're flashing me back to the Browns game last week with the Steelers.
That's just good. I mean, obviously the outcome wasn't what you wanted, but
It's good
fun to watch.
football,
It's fun to watch from a standpoint where you don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah, well, having a dog in that fight, that was hurtful, painful.
Yeah.
Oh,
it happens.
But no, anyway,
back to
it does mean like I got to go back to seminary, get 2 more courses.
okay.
Which, there's a part of me that is sadistic and enjoys that side. The studies.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I got to take a whole bunch of tests. I got to take 5 tests.
The test, no good. It's no good.
Some of them I'm looking forward to. Some of them I'm a little, we'll see how that goes. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
So I realize that I don't, for many reasons that we won't talk about now, I realize that I'm not as, I don't go to church as much as I once did. However, like, that's a big shakeup because obviously you're going to want to have a Pastor Robin job.
So
you're not going to want to be the youth director if you're going through all these things. So that's a big change for the church.
I said this early on in my time with the church if I wind up with a doctorate and everything, and this is the place I need to be, I'll sit on that education. I'll stay where I'm at. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that's where I'm always going to be.
Sure.
Robin has expressed that as much as she supports this, mm-hmm. she also kind of dreads it because that means that you're going to eventually leave.
Yeah.
And that leaving is coming sooner if this is a thing that happens.
Sure.
And I'm not at that point where it's okay, you know what, the kids are in the school district that they are in. They're stabilized
mm-hmm.
there. Melinda has her career here. And if you look at Lebanon County, there is no other Presbyterian church.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are the Presbyterian Church of Lebanon County. That's it.
So you're thinking about this as possibly being in your back pocket for a while, possibly.
Well, part of the conversation that Robin and I have had would be my position and title would change from being the youth director to something more in line with an associate.
We're going to say like an associate pastor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And moving into what that ministry looks like. Like we did talk a lot about pieces of the ministry that is lower income and family that has been working through with a handful of things. Mm-hmm. And just with our St. Nick event and providing free photos to the community mm-hmm. with Santa. I mean, you finished that episode saying there's no way a kid shouldn't be able, or Kelly did. One of the two of you did.
Well, I think we both expressed the same narrative.
Yeah, that there's no way a kid shouldn't be able to get a photo with Santa.
Ever.
Right. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, there's a place for the things that you're doing that you've spearheaded, and maybe not only spearheaded, but, were the, you came up with that are, very, very good. And, interesting for me is when I came to St. Andrews, there was an associate pastor. We've gone away from that a bit. I don't know.
2000 and what, like 7, 8? Or before that? Was that Crystal or was that Lydia?
Mm-hmm. Crystal. Yeah, because...
she's top dog at Presbytery now.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I mean, cool. She's
the big boss out there.
I mean, I didn't know her well, but my experience with her was good.
I know her at the periphery of things,
yeah.
And my impression of her has been, she's phenomenal. She seems like...
I have nothing bad to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was... So we got married in
You got married in 07 because I met married in 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you, by the way.
Hey, we're 6 months apart.
So, that means
and we
weren't members of the church at that point yet, though.
But you had long-standing tradition of membership through Nell.
Yes, Nell's grandfather was on the original building committee for that church when it moved from 4th Street Presbyterian, right?
To 12th.
Yeah. So he was on that building committee, and we have documentation of that.
Well, and I have pictures at the church of Jill as a teenager at church.
Yeah. So, that was something that was, important. But, yeah, when we came there, Steve was pastor. Crystal was the associate pastor. I don't even know I couldn't even tell you if there was a youth director at that point. I really don't know.
2000, yes, that might have been Lori.
I was going to say, I couldn't even, and if there was, I couldn't tell you who it was.
Yeah, Lori. Have you met Lori?
Probably.
Runs Chestnut Community. She did the coffee shop and the farmer's market for a while.
I'm sure. I'd have to see her.
Okay.
I'm sure I have.
She's one person who I've talked about getting on the Drunk Squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a beer episode.
She's a beer drinker.
She's a beer drinker.
Okay.
And a runner. Oh my gosh.
Oh, really?
She makes Barry look slow.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Because Barry's
he's
legit.
A quick little.
He's legit. Yeah.
Barry's the kind of guy. I love Barry, but if I ever had to deal with Barry, he's short, quick, and wiry.
He'd punch you in the balls before you even knew it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Hey, shout out to Barry. I know you're at home recovering. Heal well, dude.
Oh, what? Okay, I feel like I'm out of the loop. So what happened with Barry?
He's gonna have a knee operation. So when this episode comes out, he'll have already had it done.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to you, Barry. Hopefully the knee healing is going well.
And you know the deal, Barry. You give a call, we're there.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, we'll come over. And, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll come over.
It's funny.
I'm not going to rub your leg or anything like that. That'd be weird.
Knee massages by Kenny.
Rob can, but I'm not going to.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, we need a whole section for that from now on. Whenever we're getting weird like that, that's
right.
How you doing section. All right, but yeah, the church has gone through a lot of different generations since since you've been there, because you came on with Steve and Crystal.
Yeah,
and then there was the interim for a while, John.
Actually, he was interim pastor when my grandfather passed away.
Oh,
and so you were you there? You were
the session
barely
meeting
there.
The session meeting that they hired me at was also the session meeting that he announced his retirement.
Okay.
And I came on for that last month.
Okay.
Of working with him. And then it was Roz.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, my grandfather passed away, and I hadn't been, a church goer. I went to Sunday school and things like that, but after that, Catholic and everything. And I hadn't been a church goer in, a very, very long time. And we were just getting introduced to St. Andrews and, Nell, same way. And my grandfather passed away. And we needed somebody to, this is awful, but what do you call that? If you have will you have a pastor or something come to the funeral service? I guess I don't know if there's a name for that or that's just what it is.
It is what it is.
But we wanted somebody to do that, and my grandparents were not churchgoers by any stretch, and so that's who was at my grandfather's funeral. Yeah, and that was just perfect timing. Nell and I were just getting involved in the church, and he was there. He was the interim, and we needed somebody, so we reached out. I think I was the one that reached out, and graciously was happy that he had never met my grandfather ever, but we felt it was important to have somebody do that, and that's who we were comfortable with asking. So, yeah.
I really appreciated him.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
I did too. I liked him. Ironically enough, I've liked everyone in the iteration that has happened, but I love the fact that Robin has stabilized the head of the church.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a whole different conversation to have on that one.
Sure,
but
we need to get Robin back.
Yeah, absolutely.
If for no other reason, to make more Presbyterians.
I agree, and I've told her she has a standing invitation.
Yeah, of course.
But so John's actually one of the reasons why I'm here.
Okay.
Because when I was interviewing with St. Andrews,
mm-hmm.
I was really hesitant because they didn't have a pastor.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And I had gone through some rough changes.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a weird spot. And I didn't want to be in a church that was going through a pastoral shift again.
Yeah.
And
you had gone through, personally, we have had this conversation. You've had some rough experiences with pastors in the past.
Yeah, I've served a couple different people who I no longer apply the term pastor to.
Mm-hmm.
They are people in ministry who, you know what? They are who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I've moved on.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, I was very skittish. Like the first 2 years here, I was skittish. And I remember, though, coming up and having a conversation with John. And there were a couple pieces of things he said that I hold dear to my heart. That was just, no, St. Andrews is where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, that was 10 years ago. Jeez.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you this. I just had this idea. That just shows you how unscripted this actually is.
Well, and that's the whole point of this. We're just engaging with life in the moment.
It is. Also,
the Bills.
We're watching the Bills. The Bills and the 49ers are about to kick off. It's snowing. And I don't know about you, Rob. I feel like we're going to have similar answers here, but I love watching
a snow game
from a fan standpoint, and in the comfort of my own home that has heat. I appreciate watching these games.
I have to admit, if I could watch a snow game, I would want to be there.
Okay.
If there was a game to watch, I want to be there, and I want to be one of the idiots shirtless with paint everywhere. There'd be a lot of paint.
That'd be chilly.
That's the point.
I know.
And then go get a chili dog and spill half of it.
That'd be chilly. You'd spill it on yourself just to warm up.
I got extra, insulation.
All right, fine.
All right.
But yeah, it's a cool setting to see those piles of snow on the sideline,
and the field just dusted white.
Yeah, it's dusted white. You can still see the green,
and you get the heat waves coming through on the camera with the heated sections by the lines, but the snow.
Yeah. I think this field is heated. I think is that right? The field, underneath the field, it's one of the fields that's heated. I think.
I don't know because there's a young lady, Katie, who's a big Buffalo Bills fan.
Maybe she can answer that question.
And I refuse to follow the Bills because of her.
You hate Katie that much?
No.
Oh.
Although her husband has agreed to be on the podcast.
I don't know who these people are, but fine.
I know. Well, he's the guy I told you about that designed the game that we need to eventually get on.
Yeah. What I like about the Bills is their fans put each other through tables. That's fun.
So, Paul Puzzlesny.
Yeah.
Remember him from a couple years ago?
Yeah, we went to Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the
linebacker.
He went to Hopewell High School.
Oh.
I was in high school with him.
Oh.
Until I moved to this side of the state.
Did somebody put him through a table?
Not that I know of.
Oh, I just thought that this was a segue where this was going.
No, I went to high school with Paul Puzzlesny. And my junior year
it's
of high
not
school.
It's not an easy name to say.
No, it's not. but he took us to states my junior year of high school.
He was really good.
Oh my gosh, he was great.
He was super. He was in the league for a while.
Yeah, he was something to watch on the field.
I don't know if he was with Washington.
He was with the Bills for a while.
Okay.
And then he went south to the Jags.
Well, that's a big change from Buffalo to Florida.
Yeah, I think it was the Jags. I stopped following his career a while ago, but
Yeah.
I went to high school with him. All right, that was random, and we were going a whole different spot.
I like that. Where exactly were we?
We were talking through ministry for a bit, because I do have a question for you as well.
Okay. I feel like I was going somewhere with... When I edit this episode, I'm going to be like, oh,
Where was I going again?
that's what I was talking about. But yeah, it's just has been interesting over the years, at St. Andrews, because I came into a very transitional period, and there was a lot of things going on. Steve was there at the time, and he sat in my home.
Did he?
Yeah, he sat in Nell and I's house, because we weren't members of the church, but Nell's parents, or Nell's mom in particular, had a special historical relationship with the church, and so he came and he sat at our dining room table and we talked, and then I worked on their cars, both him and his wife, and I had a little bit of a relationship with him, outside of church, just like a human relationship.
Yeah.
And obviously, a lot happened there. And, but yeah, I just, that was my first introduction to St. Andrews, and it wasn't a bad one. Things have changed over the years, but it wasn't a bad one. And none of it has been a bad one from my eyes. Nothing has been bad. There's just been periods.
Periods. That's interesting.
There's just been periods.
I mean, that goes into
But Robin has, you and Robin have stabilized the top of the church. If I can, being perfectly honest, because there was a lot going on when we first got involved in the church. There was no pastor. Steve was, but that quickly, So, yeah.
Sorry,
Anyway.
hang on.
Uh-oh.
Ugh.
What's happening?
Oh, yeah, I'll bring it up in a second.
Family?
Yeah, family.
Okay.
I'll bring it up.
Okay.
I got no qualms talking about it here.
All right. Anyway.
But no, I don't disagree with you. I mean, my statement would be 1,010%. It is Robin. I mean, what she has come in the past decade and done with St. Andrews.
Yeah.
She has seen fractures I didn't know existed, and just healed, grown, and changed. And I mean, the whole culture, the charge. The whole culture of the church has changed.
Yeah, it needed to.
Well, and cynically, 2020 offered a very weird purge that allowed us to reset some things, redo some things, to evaluate. We went through a whole, and we've talked about this in the past. We brought people in with coaching and just evaluating. And the church culture that is St. Andrews today is very different than it was 10 years ago.
That's
in
really
a good way.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So, now my question to you real quick before I'll bring that up, because this is an interesting piece.
We do. I guess we
stuff.
really should just polish that bottle off, because there's like an inch left in the bottle. It hardly even makes sense to leave it there.
Well, you want to text Nell and just say, hey, just bring the bottle back and we'll split it between us?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. You still got a good bit to go. Holy crap, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
All right. Kenny?
Kelly's still here.
Because
I hear them talk. Either Nell's talking to herself because the Ravens lost, or Kelly's still here.
Sorry, Nell.
Either one could be true.
Listen, no, I get it. I was sitting up at 1 a.m. talking to myself after the Steelers lost to the frickin' Browns.
Hey, but you know what? I feel like the Steelers and the Ravens go very similar ways because they both lost to the Browns this year.
You are about to experience a thing if you keep.
They did. They both lost to the Browns.
I know.
You know, they're at the top of the division every single year. They're the creme de la creme of that division.
And lost to the what?
And they continue to lose to the Browns consistently. Both teams.
If we keep on this point of conversation, I'm going to owe enough money to our theoretical swear jar that I have yet to remember to bring that we're going to be buying a couple fine bottles of alcohol.
I think Craig should supply the fine bottles of alcohol.
Craig is now the swear jar.
Since he's the chaos coordinator, but never coordinates any chaos.
Every time we swear, Craig throws money into the pot.
Every time we swear, we take another bottle from Craig.
Woo, Craig is going to be out of alcohol real fast.
Yeah, he'll still buy more.
I know. Okay, so why have you started attending less? Like, you have still been on kind of the edges of things.
Yeah.
And if you want to say pass on that question, I get it.
No, I don't need to.
Okay.
And I'm not going to mention names because that's not right.
I don't disagree.
But it's not just that. It's been so my final year as board of trustees.
Okay, hold on. We got to get some context on that.
Yeah.
So, you were the president of the trustees.
Yeah, and I really do feel like you need to be retired for that job.
Don't disagree, ish. But you were, as president of the trustees, president of the corporation.
Correct, which is wild to assume that somebody thought that that was a good idea.
I actually still think it's a good idea.
Well, you know, after the fact, people still say that there's people that be like, I wish you were still doing that.
But in the time frame that you were president of the trustees,
it was the last year all that stuff happened.
What all did you deal with?
The two big ones.
And I stood beside you on some of these.
You did.
And it was wild.
I really appreciate it. I honestly, that was something that I really, really appreciated having you there for, even though we weren't close like we are now.
So the wildest one. Okay.
I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I called Robin that day and I said, here's what's going on. I didn't do it. Like, that was the exact sentence I said.
Was it the parking lot or the steeple?
Steeple.
Okay.
The youth director gets blamed for everything.
You know, ironically enough, I think, if I remember correctly, Doug was the one that made the call for both of them to call me.
I called you for the steeple.
Okay, Doug called me for the parking. Okay, you're right. Okay, forget it. I stand corrected. Yeah.
Because the day the steeple was blowing over.
That was a massive windstorm we had.
It was a huge windstorm.
Really bad.
So, okay, series of events. We leave the house promising Adeline we were going to buy her a guinea pig.
I remember this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I had to stop by the church and pick up something stupid and silly.
Mm-hmm.
We pulled into the church and I was like, something's wrong with the steeple. It just doesn't look right. We get out of the car. I look at it and my reply was, oh shit.
Get away.
The steeple's bent.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? At the same time I'm figuring out the steeple's bent, I get a call because the secretary's house is on fire.
Now see, that I didn't know.
Right.
That I didn't know.
Because in the interim time between the steeple being bent and you being called, I ran out to go figure out what was going on.
I do remember Cliffy's house being on fire.
It was the same day.
I didn't know that it... Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So I went from steeple's bent to Cliffy's house back to steeple.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when I went back to steeple that you had showed up because...
And I was just standing there looking at it.
But so the steeple was bent,
Mm-hmm.
and then what else happened that year?
We had a sinkhole in the parking lot.
And it wasn't just a sinkhole.
Oh, my God.
It morphed into 4 or 5?
Yeah, and there was one of those that was so difficult.
Oh my gosh!
Because you felt like you couldn't make the right call. Because there was nothing. The thing about it was there was nothing guaranteed. Everything you did, everything we agreed to do with the folks that gave us their professional opinions, but of course none of it's guaranteed, is you have to just make that call and be like, I have no idea if we're throwing 10 grand away or not.
Well, and I remember pieces of that because we had the guy come in, fix it, fill it, and we had to let it settle for a week.
Yes.
It settled and got bigger.
Yes.
And we brought him back. He filled it again. And while he was filling it that day, we were in staff meeting. And he came in and he said, hey, so I was looking at this and looking at how I filled everything, and my foot fell through the asphalt.
Yeah.
So now not only is there the sinkhole and the other, like, 3 sinkholes around it, now there's, like, another one. Yeah.
And that's when we brought through the recommendation of the contractor.
Yeah.
We brought like somebody really smart in that
we brought a geologist in.
Yeah. And it was like, it was time because this isn't working. And that's when we finally got everything rolling in the right direction, you know.
And hey,
that's wood. The desk is wood.
All right.
It's wood.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Is it real wood? Yeah. But it's wood.
Wood chips.
It's, yeah. There's some wood in it, I promise.
We'll go with that. It has held up.
Yeah. They made all the right recommendations.
But it took 9 months to finally get to that point. And I mean, it's
hard. And I felt like, and maybe it was just me being like self-conscious, but I felt like people were thinking that, like, what's he doing here? Like it's like,
you see, you say that, and I picture you out there with like the villain mustache and the cap and the cape, and out there digging the sinkhole deeper.
No, I just felt like in those moments, you feel like the world is looking at you like going, you're completely messing this up. And I was literally just trying to do the best I possibly could, all while working full time and having to deal with it during the day because that's when these people work.
Which is funny.
It was very hard.
Why is that a thing that happens? Why is that a thing that happens in the church?
It was very, very hard and very, very stressful. And I beat myself up a lot. And it sucked my energy that last year. And it's like, God,
all right,
church causes me so much stress. And that was the beginning of the end.
All right, let me be bluntly honest with you.
Okay.
And I don't know if we've ever said this to you. We collective church.
I can say, who's we?
We collective church, but I mean even me in this moment because
who be you?
Yeah, I'd be many things. Half of them are insanity.
I think we can all say that.
Yeah, but it's a conversation Robin and I have had even recently. But let me bluntly say it and be honest with you from the we perspective.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. No, seriously, I'm sorry. Like, I get it.
You didn't do anything wrong.
I know. I'm not saying I did directly.
Yeah.
I mean, I stood out there with you in a couple of weird spots, but I also get it from the church end of things. Sometimes it gets weird, and it gets negative, and it gets deeply and oddly personal.
Yeah, and that has to answer your question, because that went down a route associated with the question that you asked to how we got there.
Yeah,
church became associated with stress.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I got enough stress at work that I don't need.
You don't need this extra.
Yeah,
which is why I'm looking, and I'm
that's
saying
how it became associated. That was a lot of it.
And that's why I'm looking, and I'm saying I'm not sure we've ever directly addressed that in that manner, but I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not the only guy that's ever experienced
I know you're not.
Things like that. But then, I bounced right from that to finance committee. And we don't need to dive into that. But
I know you're not the only person has looked and washed their hands.
And I am...
After that committee.
It's just like, wow. So, yeah, it was like back-to-back stuff. And it's like, man, just church thing just isn't that fun. And it became associated with negative things, not church itself, as in the actual worship portion, the fellowship portion, but the other things involved. I'm like, that just isn't fun.
You get the personalities that
and
come
then
into
COVID
that.
and,
Oh, COVID was
and then,
bad.
COVID and then the makeshift walls and, you can't, don't gather in here, but you can gather outside. Like, oh, God. It's a lot of stuff. And it just soured.
So the whole COVID thing, again, I mean, I think the answer to COVID is that there is no one who can look and say they navigated that time period perfectly.
Oh, God, no.
Like, we all screwed up somewhere.
I mean, at the highest level, including
gosh,
including our government.
Yeah, you want to get into the government.
I
we
mean,
need a second bottle.
I mean,
and 3 more hours. Oh, wow. Speaking of bottle.
There's not enough Jameson on the planet. Rob needs it.
We're delving into politics.
Thank you. Well, not really.
Well, did you see Nell's face when I said that?
Yeah.
She ran out of the room.
As fast as possible.
Okay, look.
And I don't blame her.
I was going to say, look, do you want either you or I talking politics?
No.
Okay.
I'd never want me talking politics.
My answer to politics is screw it, drink more.
Your answer to politics is finish that bottle.
What bottle?
So, full disclosure, Rob and I drank an entire bottle of Jameson Black. What is it? Black Barrel? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Jameson Black Barrel.
In 2 episodes.
Over the course of 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, we're not like sitting here.
And it's weird because it don't feel like we've had a bottle of alcohol.
So I can feel it partially in my ears, but that's also because I'm wearing headphones.
Well, yeah.
But I'm not like, wee.
I hear voices. Oh, that's Rob.
Yeah, no. You don't want to hear my voice in your head. I don't want to hear my voice in my head.
I already do. This field is getting more covered, though, as we watch.
We wear headphones for your protection.
We definitely wear headphones for my protection because that would shoot me.
Well, but it saved us last episode.
It did, and it was partially the headphones and partially like I heard this thing in my ears, and I knew like my elbow had bumped something. So my elbow bumped something, and then I had this noise in my ears, and I just looked over, and I partially wonder. Do you remember back to the Randy episode?
Yeah.
And I partially wonder if that didn't happen in that episode, and that's what happened in with the
right at my meltdown with Star Wars.
We lost like 10 minutes or so, which we still need to get Randy back at some point. But it's hard to pinpoint him in Lebanon here for an extended period of time, especially right now. So,
well, what was great? We didn't directly talk about this. It was really cool walking in last week to Nell's birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
First off, I think you told me, and I think I entirely forgot that Pete and Debs were up.
Oh, so you walked in the door and were surprised?
Kind of. So we're walking.
I mean, they were in the list. They were on the list if you looked at it. I mean,
okay, wait a minute. It's on Facebook?
Yeah.
Do you expect I paid attention?
No.
Great.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't.
I have a wife. She pays attention for me and tells me where I need to go when I need to go.
That's nice of her.
Oh, you say nice of her. I think it is.
So your wife tells you where to go. That's what I've gathered from this conversation.
Dun dun. All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
But no, we're walking up your front walk, and I'm looking at the back of someone's head. I'm like, I feel like that's Pete. Like, it is semi-balding. Sorry, Pete.
Yeah, you could tell he was New York from the back of his head.
I could.
Yeah.
You New Yorkers.
New Yorkers. Coffee.
But we're walking in. I'm like, I feel like that's Pete. There's no way that Pete is up here. I'm just seeing things. I'm in it. Holy crap, it's Pete. And then Debs comes like fluttering out of your spare bedroom.
Deb flutters.
She does.
Yes.
And
she's
then
a butterfly.
Yeah, and you watch her and you're like, yeah, holy crap, she flutters.
Yeah. You're
Everywhere
not sure.
she goes, she flutters.
You're not sure her feet touch the ground.
You know, I actually didn't check.
I'm telling you.
Does she have feet?
I mean, very small ones, but yeah.
Yeah, she just kind of fluttered into the room. And, like, it really was a who's who of Kenny and Nell. From Randy to Pete and Debs and Kelly. And I'm trying to think who else I was connecting with that night.
There's about 30 other people.
Oh, I finally got to meet A.A. Ron.
Oh, A.A. Ron. You done...
I've never met A.A. Ron.
You done messed up now, A.A. Ron.
Like, you and I have been doing this for a couple years. I think I've mentioned that we should have him on at some point.
Yeah, I'd like to get him like up here for like long enough to do this.
Yeah. So I got to meet A.A. Ron and Chris, his husband, and Pete and Debs, and it was a wild night, and there were potatoes.
Oh, a lot of potatoes, yeah. Wow.
And Melinda drank 2 glasses of wine.
That's
2 glasses of wine.
That means a lot.
Yeah, it does.
You have a good night?
Nope.
Okay. Would you tell me if you did? Nope. Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
I get that.
Some of us do not want death.
Yeah, I get it.
Some of us want to continue in marriage.
Yeah, me too.
See? There you go.
Me too. But yeah, it was humbling to see.
Well, and just see, and I guess that's why I kind of I'll look and be slightly defensive, but I mean the community that you have built in some ways is similar to the community that we're trying to build in the church. This weird conglomeration of every walk.
People that don't fit together.
And sometimes that don't fitting together, it gets weird. It gets painful. And I've had some, privately, you and I have talked about some of the church trauma and hurt that Melinda and I have gone through. And I mean, we haven't even talked through the worst of it that I know of.
Yeah.
Like there's some weird stuff we've gone through.
I mean, you've told me enough to know that I know you're telling the truth.
But it's the weird conglomeration that is beautiful and wonderful and community-based. And I mean, that's been the whole point of this conversation. There you go.
Man, we really went down a rabbit hole.
Well, I mean...
Rabbit hole is probably maybe not the right term, but...
This is Alice in Wonderland. We're full in Wonderland here.
We are.
Reflecting on those elements. What is the people we've surrounded ourselves with? What is the community?
Yeah.
I mean, what is persistence in that? And it's wild. I mean, so where are we at? I got like 50 minutes.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. You're pretty much dead on, basically.
Yeah.
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 So, you got...
Yeah. Kenny. You got any nuggies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. There's a lot. If you listen to the last episode, you may have heard a little bit of this, but there's been a lot that has gone down in the past. Oh man, week and a half. Yeah, I would say, and it's an emotional roller coaster because there have been a heck of a lot of people that have really come out and made Nell a priority, and it was great to see, because you start to invite people strategically, and you're like, okay, well, you invite these people, and you figure, like, if half of them come, then you'll have a nice turnout. And then it started to be like, holy crap, like
it was vying for space in your house.
Yeah, and it just wasn't like, I guess I just didn't expect. I didn't expect what I got, because it just started. And then I told, because Nell knew that the party was happening. She didn't know the scope. She didn't know everybody that was coming. But, she lives here. So it's difficult to really do a surprise. So she knew that this was happening. And then when you start to tell her, you're like, well, looks like there might be about 35 people here. And it's like, she's like, what? Where are we putting? I don't know, but everybody we invited came for the most part, like with the exception of a handful of people.
You wound up with more than 35 people. In
Yeah,
this
I'm
house.
sure we did. I just from Pete and Debs coming from Florida to you guys to Kelly.
Nell's sister, parents,
Nell's
friends.
Nell's sister making the trip. My cousin Eric, who got Nell her first job when she moved to Pennsylvania. Like, that's who she worked with when she moved to Pennsylvania. Like, all of those things. And there were some people that I bet I could have gotten here. I just couldn't find them. Some folks from Nell's past in Maryland, when she was working at the restaurants and stuff in Maryland before she moved up here. There were two people in particular that I was attempting to find that I just couldn't find. I just guessed they're not on Facebook, or I just couldn't find them. But I bet if I could have gotten them here, and that would have been a complete brain melt. But yeah, it was cool.
It's phenomenal seeing the elements of community. And we talked about it last episode with Kelly. Just the community that showed up with what we did today at the church. The community that showed up last week for Nell. The community that is quickly and easily accessible. And the ones who show up.
Mm-hmm. That's the ones that show up.
And sometimes showing up isn't always physical. Sometimes showing up is that shout out. Like, okay, admittedly, I always feel bad about this. But like Wednesday nights, I'm listening. I don't always get to interact. But the people who are there.
Yeah. Radio is a thing that, like, it's like you
But what you guys
not
are doing with
interacts.
radio is a whole different bit. And that's another conversation because you're backdoor famous. Kenny.
Just ask Kelly. I don't know what that is exactly. But apparently that's what I am.
Yep.
So,
hey.
All right.
It's the people.
It is.
And it's you
It
guys,
is all about the people.
And it's you guys listening right now.
Yeah.
Because, hey, you're our people.
You are all people. I don't know how many of you there are, but you are our people.
There's enough.
You are our people.
So, peoples,
We're
Scurry, cheers to you.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks for coming over tonight, Rob.
Yeah, Kenny and I have to go sleep off a bottle.
Yeah, I feel surprisingly good for having consumed an entire bottle of alcohol.
Yeah, I'm going to hang on for a little bit and, just level out.
Yeah, I'm going to finish what I have. You have a little bit, or
Yep.
You don't have a little bit?
I don't have a little bit.
Okay. Anyway.
There's like 2 sips left in the bottle.
So, anyway, thanks for listening to the Drunk Squirrel Podcast, and we'll catch you again in 2 weeks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to The Drunk Squirrel. No need to pay a tab. Just be sure to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and drop us a line, thedrunksquirrel82@gmail.com. Cheers.